First, I want to thank everybody that has subscribed, liked, commented. I appreciate everything that you've said. No matter what you've said, I appreciate the likes. Please share this with your friends. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you hit that share button. We're trying to make sure that everybody know that they're not victims, that they're empowered for greatness, that we can make a difference again in this nation. That we can stand up for biblical values, we can stand up for truth and push back against all the lies and everything that's false that's taking place in this land. So I appreciate that. And please, thank you for looking at my videos and participating and making our voice known. Do you know what the number one killer of black people is? No, it's not other black people. It's not cancer. It's not high blood pressure. It's not heart disease. There's none of that. You want to know what the number one killer of black people is? Abortion. Yes, that dirty word, that scarlet letter A, that the woke progressives don't want you to talk about. Yeah, that word. And did you know that in 2022, white feminists are still muzzling the mouths of black women by telling them what they should and should not think about their unborn child. White feminists, white women, the Karens, do not care about black lives. Black Lives Matter is just a slogan to them. And you want to know why? Because they have infiltrated the civil rights movement and they've twisted it and they've used it for their advantage. You have to understand, if black lives meant so much to the white feminists, to the woke progressives, then why aren't they championing that more black women keep their babies? Oh, they're saying, oh, it's just a women's right. That's why we're not championing life. Well, you're telling black women that they're not responsible enough to have that child by advocating for abortion. Because what it is, see, to you, it's all about the goal of making women equal with men. And see, you'll tell black women that your seed is not valuable enough, that that man is not valuable enough, that you as a black woman can be strong by yourself. Go on, sister, be strong. You don't need that man. You don't need that child. That child's an inconvenience. While yet you'll sit back there and see and not do that for your own self. That's hypocritical. That is very hypocritical. So a long time ago, there was a black feminist by the name of Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. And she talked about in her speech in 1866 that in advocating the cause of the colored man since the Dred Scott decision, I've sometimes said I thought the nation had touched bottom. Well, it has not. The nation really hit bottom in 1973 when Roe v. Wade was passed. And even the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the champion of all the feminists and the woke progressives, all the Karens, she acknowledged this fact by saying, frankly, she is saying this in 2009, frankly, I had thought that at the time Roe was decided, there was concern about population growth and particularly growth in populations that we don't want to have too many of. I'm going to say that again slowly. Ruth Bader Ginsburg said this in 2009. Frankly, I had thought that at the time Roe was decided, there was concern about population growth, and particularly growth in populations that we don't want to have too many of. Here's the play. The reason why the feminists, why the woke progressives, and why the elites are pushing for abortion is they're trying to curtail and diminish the growth of the black community in particular, but minority communities in general. It's all about depopulation. It's all about control. It's all about eugenics. And see, that goes back to the history of Planned Parenthood. That goes back to the history of the abortion industry. Margaret Sanger, she was the one that founded the organization that eventually became Planned Parenthood. Its end goal was eugenics. Its end goal was to create this master race. That's why the Nazis used some of the same ideas and ideologies when they came to the Holocaust. You know where they got that from? People like Margaret Sanger. And that same mentality exists today. They are wanting to make us victims. That is a spirit. That spirit wants to make us victims. That spirit wants to make us feel oppressed. But we are not victims. We are empowered for greatness. But too many black women and too many black people have listened to the voice of the feminists, of the woke progressives, the white feminists, and has committed genocide in their own ethnicity, committed genocide in their own communities. Since Roe v. Wade, abortion has claimed the lives of about 21 million black Americans. 21 million. Why do you think we're stuck at 12 and 13% for the last 40 and 50 years? We have remained stagnant while the Hispanic community has grown. Why is that? It was intentional. We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled. We've been deceived by the white feminists. The white feminists have infiltrated the black communities and used black bodies to advance their purposes and their cause. They have. And here's something I learned too that's interesting. While I know there's the Susan B. Anthony organization, they do good work when it comes to fighting abortion. You have to understand something too. Just as Harper said at a National Women's Rights Convention in New York City, when she was standing alongside white feminists, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, you white women speak of rights, I speak of wrongs. See, you have to understand something. If you were really talking about institutional racism, institutionalized injustice, you have to understand the white feminists and the woke crowd are not concerned about black lives. They're not concerned about institutional injustice, because if they were, they would notice the injustices that are performed in the black community at Planned Parenthood facilities every single day. That is an injustice, that a baby who has no choice is murdered simply out of the act of convenience. Simply out of act of convenience. And the white feminists and the woke crowd are using Marxism, they're using race, they're using that to continue to bash this country, to continue to say that this country is systemically unjust, systemically racist. It's time for black women and black men to stand up and speak for themselves. It's time for them to stand up and say, no, we are smart enough, we have enough agency to make our own choices. We're not going to let you gas us up. We're not going to let you tell us what you want us to do with our children. That has happened far too long, and it must stop, because we are not victims. We are empowered for greatness. White feminists do not care about black men. They don't care about black babies, and they don't care about black women. They're using black women to advance their cause. They're stepping on the bodies of black women, on the back of black women, to advance their cause. Why do you think affirmative action has benefited white women more than it has anybody else? White women. I know it's International Women's Day. And so this message comes out on International Women's Day to say that white feminists, white women, have no value of black lives. They don't. They only value what the black lives can provide them, which is advancement. They have advanced off the back of black lives, especially the black women they claim to speak for. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness, and we must speak out. We must stand up for the lives of everyone, in particular the lives of the unborn, the value of the black children that have been impacted by this scourge of abortion. We are not victims. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness. We can speak for our own community. As believers, we must speak out against the atrocity of abortion. It is a scourge that is worse than all the police brutality arguments and all the things that the woke progressive and the media will want you to believe. There is an assault on lives in the black community, and And that assault is on the lives of the unborn. And that assault is taking place at the hands primarily of white feminists, white Karens, white woke progressive women who are telling black women that their future is not in keeping their child. Their future is not in maintaining a nuclear family. Their future is being more like them. And it will not benefit them in the end. Because we are not victims. We love our families. We must strengthen our families. We must bring our families together, intact. We need more children. Because if the white feminists value black lives truly, they will want more black lives to be born. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness. Thank you so much for liking your comments and subscribing to the channel. Please share this with your friends. Smash that like button. Smash the subscription bell. Share this with everybody you know. We're trying to make sure people understand that they're not victims, that they are empowered for greatness, and all this stuff that's out here that's telling them otherwise is false and will not benefit them in the end. So please, I appreciate that. Share that.